Thank you, everybody. Please take a seat. Good evening and welcome to this meeting of Henley Town Council today, Tuesday, the 23rd of April, 2024. You'll all be thrilled to know that my voice is almost entirely back to normal for it, so we can complete the full agenda tonight. First item on the agenda are apologies for absence.
We have apologies from councillors Buckley, Dodds, Kendaya and Mill.
That's quite a few misses tonight to get some of the public participation people to fill the gap. So. Okay, this will just grab us to move on to declaration of interest. Are there any declaration of interest from councillors around the table about anything on tonight's agenda? I see none, so we'll move on to item 3, which is public participation. Would anybody like to speak, please? If you could just say your name.
Diana Barnett with Queen and Henley.
Say what you'd like to say or question you'd like to answer.
Okay. Just really about the declaration that I hope is going to be made tonight. Already, Henley Town Council are doing a lot for our environment, and we thank them for their foresight and that their staff. Things like the conservation officer, who really helps with the working group, the wildlife working group. The planters of Agnes in the town centre to absorb traffic pollution. Going peat free, no pesticides in community areas, tree planting, and I keep spotting new ones. So I know you've been out. Establishing community orchards and looking at all the time to see what else can be done to improve our environment. But actually, declaring a nature emergency is a huge step and will make looking after our environment in the town normal, something we can all own. For years, humans were under the impression that we were separate from nature. Unfortunately, there are still people who feel we have dominion over all other life forms. We don't. That belief has led us to the nature crisis we're in at the moment. And damage one part of our ecosystem, say bees and wasps, and we put all nature, including ourselves, in jeopardy. So declaring we are in a nature emergency gives us all a chance to talk about the issues. Why we encourage people to put up swift boxes, which is something I quite like to do. How insect loss is impacting other species. Is the river a habitat or a drain? It's a great opportunity to work together for the good of all species we share Henley with, human and non-human. Greener Henley are very pleased to see the environment being given high status in the Town Council's 5-year strategy plan. We will support this in any way we can. Personally, I have vowed to myself that I will spend the rest of my time on this earth being a voice for the voiceless and speak up for those who are not being listened to. So now, if Henley could oversee the banning of pesticides in the town, you would make me and a lot of invertebrates very happy.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? I see none, so we'll move on to agenda item 4. Oh, you would, sorry, Councillor Arlo.
Can I just make a quick statement, actually, and just to say how well yourself, Madam Mayor, and your predecessor, Councillor, carried out your duties over the last year. And I have to say, actually, you're probably as good as any mayor I've known since gone in 1991.
High praise indeed. Thank you, Councillor Arlo. So move on to
99. Who was it?
1991. Oh, some man called Ken Allen. It used to be the youngest mayor of Henley at one point.
No longer. No longer. So was I.
Okay, we'll move on to the minutes of the last meeting, which you'll find on pages 5 to 6. These were for the council meeting held on the 19th of March. Are there any comments, queries, or amendments to make? I see none. Are we happy to accept these? Thank you very much. We'll now move on to reports of committees. We'll start with planning. Unfortunately, we don't have Councillor Buckley here this evening, so Councillor Thomas will be reading the planning minutes and we'll start with those on pages 7 to 13.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I hereby present to you the minutes of the planning committee, which was held on Tuesday, the 12th of March. Item 193, apologies for absence. 194, declarations of interest. 195, minutes. 196, public participation. 197, plans amended. 198, plans new. 199, objections, call-in applications. 200, decision notices. 201, Levelling Up and Regeneration Act 2023. 202, Permitted Development Rights Consultation. 203, progress report for applications called in. And then over the page, on page 10, 204, progress reports. I do so move.
You all in favour? You?
I hereby present the minutes of the planning committee, which was held on Tuesday, the 26th of March. 205, apologies for absence. 206, declarations of interest. 207, minutes. 208, public participation. 209, plans new. And then over the page 12. 210, objections, call-in applications. 211, decision notices. 212, finances. 213, biodiversity officer. 214, plain pictures and leisure facilities consultation. And 215, progress report for applications called in. I do so move.
All in favour? Thank you. We now move to Recreation and Amenities Committee. I was actually sick at that time. I didn't have a voice, so Councillor Dodd's chair, but as Councillor Dodd isn't here this evening, I'll be going through the Recreation and Amenity minutes. Find these on page 15. 270, apologies for absence. 71, declaration of interest. 72, public participation. 73, minutes. 74, progress. 75, finances. 76, Jubilee Park all-weather pitch charges. 77, mooring policy and general mooring conditions policy. 78, filming policy. 79, Mill Meadows bathing water status. 80, South Oxfordshire District Council strategy and leisure facilities assessment and strategy. Bit of a mouthful, that one. I so move. All in favour? Thank you very much. We'll now move to Councillor Lambert for the town and community minutes on page 19.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I hereby present the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 2nd of April. Item 88, apologies. 89, declarations of interest. 90, public participation. 91, minutes. 92, communications manager update. 93, town centre manager update. Over the page, 94, Henley Public Space Protection Order consultation.
We still got silent in there. I thought we was going to take this silent thing out, but it wasn't fit for purpose. I'm not saying silent.
Okay, you've got that far, yeah. Silent running generators, that was the item.
Yeah.
I'll carry on. 96, so 95, silent running generators. 96, hire of tourism and film consultant. 97, finance. 98, progress. So move.
All in favour? We'll now move to minutes of the Finance Strategy Management Committee on page 21. Thank you, Councillor Iceland.
I'd like to present the minutes of the meeting of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee held on the 16th of April. Item 80, apologies. Item 81, declarations of interest. Item 82, public participation. Item 83, minutes. Item 84, finance. Item 85, expenditure. Item 86, staff handbook. Item 87, exclusion of the public and press. Item 88, legal updates. Item 89, communications manager working hours. I so move.
All in favour? Thank you very much. We'll now move on to reports of other authorities. We'll start with the district council report. Thank you as always, councillor Arlott. Would you like to come up and add anything to your report?
No, I've got nothing to add.
Did you receive any questions in advance?
I've got a wishes to ask a question.
Do we have any questions around the table? I see none. I'd like to thank you, just as the person chairing these meetings, every time there's a report, I look and I think as a district councillor, didn't realise there was so much to talk about. But councillor Arlott always puts in a really full report with him, very minimal input from myself and from councillor Gamsha.
To be fair about the myself and councillor Goucher do plenty of their part in this report.
Thank you. We have no questions on the district council report. I have nothing to add to it. Do you have anything?
No.
No, so we'll move on to county councillor report. Would you like to add anything to that?
Just very briefly, you haven't got a county council report, mainly because last Tuesday I had a motion down at county council for the restoration of the 7 beds up here. But due to the length of the business that happened, we actually didn't get onto any motions until 4:15 in the afternoon. So therefore, no motions were heard. I was 4th on the list, and I'm hoping in the next council meeting to be 4th on the list as well, and I hope it will be heard. I had good indication that I would have won the motion, but we will see. Okay, I keep pressing on with the beds and also the Marsh Lock Horse Bridge, and also the HGVs are rumbling on, as evidenced by the traffic advisory. No, traffic. What is it called? Transport Strategy Group. That's right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did you receive any questions? In
No,
advance?
no.
And no comments? No. Well, we'll move on to reports of outside bodies. Is there anybody that would like to give a report on an outside body that they represent HTC on? Councillor Lambert.
Yeah, just to point out that on Saturday, May the 4th, Bluebells Day Centre will be running its Bluebells for Bluebells fundraising walk, Rodfield Grays. Also, May 9th is the 5th anniversary of Bluebells relaunch. So this council was instrumental in helping relaunch Bluebells. We're almost at 5 years.
Well done. Well done.
Is there anyone else that would like to? Councillor Hunt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Short update from the River and Rowing Museum. In the last 6 weeks, they've had a successful funding deal with SODC to support the reopening of Ratty's Refuge, but that is awaiting cabinet approval. I'm sure the district council is on.
It has been approved.
Oh, now it has been approved since I had the report, so excellent, that's good news. They've hosted the launch of Henley Youth Festival and launched the On Reflection exhibition. And they had a very good half term, there were 700 visitors, so things are moving in the right track. And they also had some good publicity in the garden recently, so things are going well.
Are there any other reports from outside bodies? I see none, so we'll move on to Mayor's civic engagements, which I will say to start by apologising because I had a throat and tonsillitis, then a chest infection, and I could still attend online meetings just about at that point. So I attended a few things online, but when I lost my voice, there really was no hope. Although some people were very pleased about that for at least 3 weeks. So it wasn't all bad, I'm sure. During that time on April 5th, we had a really fantastic uncivic dinner, and I just really want to shout out the people in this room, obviously the councillors that came and supported and hopefully enjoyed themselves, but also the staff, particularly Nina and Daisy, who did a lot of work, and it really paid off. It was a really fantastic evening. I did have to step outside a few times to cough a little bit, but it was probably from all the line dancing. So thank you very much. We raised more than I expected to raise for the Mayor's chosen charities, which this year, as you know, were chosen by Councillor Miller, and they were the local Parkinson's group and the Henley Community Hub. So I was really keen to be able to do some fundraising this year, and we were only able to raise so much money, in really thanks to Councillor Hunt and his parents, Lindsay Hunt and Dr. Ian Hunt as well. So I'd just like to mention those because really it was a credit to them and Councillor Arlott who helped to donate the prizes for the auction. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you very much for your support.
That's good.
But yes, there's been a few events that I was able to attend that I also really enjoyed, and a few things that councillor Hunt has attended as well. So thank you very much for your support, councillor.
How much was raised in the civic dinner?
I think it was just over £2,000.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the final figure. I haven't
Okay,
given.
so I
I
just-
think we have to tally it up with everything else,
Yeah.
take the deductions, and then we'll have a figure. But when at Mayor Making, we should have the total figure for the year, which will include things like the Living Advent Calendar and the Santa Fund.
Well done.
But hopefully it's a nice amount for them. We only have 2 charities to do. Okay, before I lose my voice again, because I can starting to go, we'll move on to agenda item 9, which is policies. There being no amendments being proposed, I would like to take these on block to propose that we approve them. Is that seconded?
Yep.
Thank you, councillor Hunt. All in favour? Thank you very much. We'll now move on to agenda item 10, which is the 2024-2025 Mayor and Deputy Mayor. We intend now to propose and decide on our Mayor and Deputy Mayor elect. And so can I have a nomination? Councillor Lambert,
Councillor Hunt.
would you like to speak to that now?
Yes, if no one else wants to make any proposals.
Are there any other proposals? I see none.
Yes, I'd like to propose councillor Hunt for Mayor of Henley on Thames for the next civic year. I'll say a few words. I remember clearly and fondly the day I met Rory. We were at Henley Rowing Club. Somewhere my friends and I spent a lot of time back then as we attempted to learn as much as we could about the sport from the dry comfort of the balcony. I had no idea and would never have believed that just a few months later this new Rory chap would get me out on the water attempting to scull myself. He has photos to prove this. That was back in 2021, but it was clear from the start that Rory was a man of exceptional character. Warm, approachable, devoted to his friends and family, passionate about sport, generous to a fault, and wise beyond his years. It wasn't long before I began to wonder if I could persuade him to stand for election to Henley Town Council, so that we could all benefit from his desire to get stuck in and his obvious passion for Henley and all the events that help make Henley such a special place to live. Fortunately, Rory embraced the idea immediately with his usual enthusiasm, and since being elected has proven himself a tremendously valuable and hard-working councillor. And for the last few months, he has been an excellent and very supportive deputy mayor under difficult circumstances. I have no doubt that Rory will devote himself to the role of mayor and work tirelessly to make the most of his year and advance the causes he is so passionate about. Sporting opportunities for our young people, the cleanliness and maintenance of our river, fiscal responsibility and governance, and of course, the welfare of our local pubs and breweries. I propose Rory for Mayor of Henley with complete confidence that he will give the role his all and represent those who elected him in a manner they become and be a great ambassador for Henley.
I'm actually going to second this from the chair. And for once I've actually written them down, so I don't wing it. But I'd like to second this. Perhaps it's unusual to say that Councillor Hunt is the councillor I've spent the most time with this year, because he's deputy and I'm mayor. Normally that would mean that we've been in completely separate places because he's gone to places that I can't get to. And however, this year it's been different because I have another role as well within the district. And so we've actually attended a few things together, and on top of that, Rory's escorted me to a number of events. We've been to the rugby a few times, we've been to Blenheim Palace, we've even been to a sausage dog Christmas party together. And it's actually been really nice to spend some time with the deputy mayor, and it was a very unusual year because, as you all know, with the circumstances, both of us were in these roles for just 7 months. But Rory has completely, even as a new councillor, has completely and utterly thrown himself into it. He's a great councillor, he's meticulous, he's methodical, he's committed, he's knowledgeable. He's already providing input, valuable input across every committee, because when you become deputy mayor, you instantly sign up to being on every standing committee. And he's also on a number of the working groups as well. He has been the most supportive deputy from stepping up to things well in advance. Maybe we know of an event 3-4 weeks, we know it's going to clash. And so, you know, I'll go to one and Rory might go to the other. But sometimes, particularly when I've been ill or something's happened, Rory's been there in just a few minutes notice, and it's really been appreciated. In fact, I don't think that there's ever been as supportive a deputy mayor as Rory's been to me. And what's been really lovely is that by spending all of this time with Rory this year, is that I've also got to spend some time with Rory's family. The most important thing about being mayor is not just the councillors around this table who are working with you every day and the staff in the town hall who are supporting you every day, but it's the family that keep you going. You can't do it without supportive family. And Rory is so lucky because he's got two fantastic, hilarious actually, but two really fantastic, supportive, loving parents in Linz and Ian. And I know that they will just be the most fantastic consorts to you throughout the year, and they will give you the support that your friends around this table will also give you to help you be as successful as possible, which I know that you will be. So I'm really happy to second this nomination for mayor-elect, and I hope you've gone to be here in mayor making in May. So that's. Can we now, oh, sorry, Councillor Ross, would you like to, Councillor Ross, would you like to speak?
I'm not going to put someone else, just in case that. Well, that would liven up the meeting a bit, but Councillor Hunt, Rory did ask me to say a few words as well, and so of course I would, and I'll try not to embarrass him too much. I first met Rory about 18 months ago, and I really feel like I've sort of known him forever. I seem to have seen a lot of him and talked to him a lot. And I was immediately impressed at the time, and I still am, even more so, and his enthusiasm for the town, and his enthusiasm for life, and his interest almost immediately about what the town council does to preserve and enhance the town and make it a better place for residents. He quickly expressed an interest in standing for the town council, and I don't think he needed much persuading. I think we had great difficulty stopping him, such as his enthusiasm. He loves doing this. And he was elected in May. He is an enthusiastic and energetic councillor, and I know that when agendas arrive from Sheridan, particularly the full council and the finance, I know that about 30 minutes later a phone call will come from Rory saying, oh, what about this and what about that, and have you thought about this? And we'd have to go. We will have to go through a number of suggestions about the item on the agenda, and they're always helpful and constructive. So he knows huge numbers of people in the town as well, which is a source of amazement to me. He just seems to know everyone, and I'm very happy to have a chance to vote for him as mayor. So I think he'll be an excellent mayor when the time comes in May.
Right, would anybody else like to speak for me to vote? In that case, all those in favour of Rory? I think I saw definitely someone cut you down. That's unanimous, lovely. So thank you, well done, congratulations, Councillor Hunt. Please, yes.
Councillors, town clerk, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply honoured to be nominated as the next mayor of Henley. I accept the nomination gladly, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve our town and community alongside all your other councillors, the officers and the voluntary groups who I know contribute so much. Those of you that know me will confirm my love of this town and its surroundings, and Glen pointed out especially the river, and I will work hard to deliver the outcomes that matter to this community if elected at mayor making. I thank Glen, Kelly and Ian for your very kind words, and I hope I can live up to your high expectations. Thank you all. You're welcome.
We'll now do the same for deputy mayor this year. Do I have any nominations? Councillor Belcher.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to propose Councillor Tom Buckley for the position of deputy mayor.
He's not here to say no. Would you like to speak to it? Are there any other proposals? I see none. Please continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Tom unfortunately can't be here because of family circumstances this evening, but I'm sure he would have loved to have been here to actually hear what he said. A lot of councillors praise me for my brevity. I'm not prone to florid verbosity. You will be praying that I will be brief. Well, dream on. I propose Tom Buckley for deputy mayor. And the reason why I do this is because Tom has become an excellent councillor over the last 3.5 years, I suppose, since he has. And he stepped ably into the position of chair of planning. One might even say that he's the best chair of planning since Councillor Thomas. I would like you to vote for Tom because he's great, he's dedicated to the town, and he also has a lovely dog called Luna. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Galaszak. Is the second then? 2 seconds. Would you like to second Tony and then if you'd like to speak to it, Lawrence?
Yes, I didn't meet councillor Buckley until I joined this council. I am very impressed by his approach in the planning committee. And I think that actually sets him well for understanding how the council works and actually being the deputy mayor. And I recommend that basis. Thank you very much.
Councillor Skins, Lawrence, would you like to speak?
Oh yeah, I thought Thomas Benno maybe wasn't the sort of, he wanted to be chair and he settled into the role brilliantly. He didn't come to it sort of incredibly naturally to start with, but thanks to help from Michelle and those around him, he's really settled into it brilliantly. He's very confident at chair now, and I think he'll support, Maury as mayor. Phenomenal. So I think they'll make a great pair together.
Before we move to the vote, I'd just like to add that I also completely support this nomination. I think Tom has been a fantastic chair of planning. He brings something that I'm not particularly used to on this town council, which is a calm support. He's a very calm person, and he thinks about things very properly. And he also really loves short meetings, and for those reasons, I'm so all of those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. Congratulations to Councillor Buckley. Sorry that he couldn't be here this evening, but I'm sure he will watch this back on YouTube, maybe even watching live. Right, that being done, congratulations to both. We'll now move on to the final item on the agenda, which is the nature emergency. And I'm going to first move to Councillor Hunt.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to propose that we adopt the nature emergency declaration as on the agenda. We have already declared a climate emergency, and nature is, to my mind, just as important. Having a vibrant ecosystem should be to the delight of all, with us spending time in vibrant green spaces in our incredibly beautiful area of the country. However, we are stewards of these green spaces, and we have a duty to preserve and enhance them. And it is right that we take action to do our duty in this regard. Perhaps most prominently, we've seen horrific and illegal dereliction of duty by Thames Water, ruining the ecosystem in the River Thames, affecting the local wildlife, and seriously endangering those who use the river for recreation or for those who rely on the river for a livelihood. In addition to the excellent work we have already done to address the nature issue and climate issues, such as supporting Nature Squared and the wildlife areas that we have enhanced already on Mill Meadows and Marsh Meadows, this declaration will help us to further address this issue, show we are taking it seriously, and enact the plan within our strategic plan to address this. I look forward to seeing the plan put into place, and thus I propose this motion, and I urge all the council to support it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a second, Councillor Galaszak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll speak now, if I may. This declaration of a nature emergency was actually thought of about a year ago. You may well say, well, why has it taken a year to get here? The reason is we were wanting to get it right. We've been through a few iterations of this policy. And the important thing that all councillors around this table were determined to do was that it wasn't just going to be a badge, that we were going to say, oh, we'll declare the nature emergency as a badge, or aren't we good? The important work that's gone into this, that also is echoed in the strategic plan, is that we wanted substance behind the declaration. And if you look on page 96, and also look in the strategic plan, you will see that there is a lot of things that we are going to do after this declaration. And I will just list a few. Put in place ecological management plans for high priority areas. Achieve bee-friendly status. Increase awareness and engagement of both emergencies to bring a change of use in the community. Use vehicles such as social media and public meetings to inform the community, attract volunteers, and get some energy behind declaring a nature emergency. Implementation of a tree strategy, that's already underway. And finally, conduct a nature audit of all Henley's green spaces, starting with Gibbets Field. The idea is that we have somebody, an expert, assess Gibbets Field, find out what's there, and then suggest improvements, and then do it. And we will move around all the green areas in Henley, including the corridors between those green areas, in other words, the verges of the roads. So therefore, this is not a hollow declaration. This is a declaration with substance. So I heartily recommend you this policy. It really is very, very good. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this? Councillor Hosking, then I'll come to you, Councillor Rice.
Yes, two aspects. First of all, I think it's important to understand what our other councillors, how they're getting involved in this aspect. And I'm talking about SODC and OCC. And in that respect, the task for this programme starts now. And we have got to have plans in place. We've got to have plans which actually involve OCC and SODC in that respect. And we shouldn't underestimate the task that is involved in terms of getting this plans in place and actually operational. And I think that's a task we need to recognise, and perhaps it's something we should put in place over the next 2 years, because I think that's what it's going to take to get things, even with the support of Greener Henley. I think that the challenge is going to be quite great.
Thank you, Councillor Hosking. Councillor Rice.
Henley Town Council has a long record of both protecting and enhancing the environment in and around the town. And this goes back to as far as 2007, when in this chamber the Henley Town Council debated climate change as it resolved to consider the conclusions of the Stern Review on the economics of climate change. And this was the first report that discussed the economics of climate change, and it's still regarded as the largest and most widely known. And the Town Council resolved that it would use the principles that were espoused and the direction the report suggested in consideration of all its decisions. Now, not everyone at that time agreed that climate change was both real, that it was man-made, and that we should be doing things about it. And times have changed, and nowadays the issue, sadly, of man-made climate change in many ways is real. It's affecting us, and we need to act. The issues around nature and the need for a declaration are very closely intertwined and almost inseparable from the issue of climate change and carbon emissions. And in 2020, the Town Council declared a climate emergency, as we're proposing to do here for the nature emergency. And we wanted to do two things. We wanted to improve our own record on CO2 emissions, and we wanted to show leadership and encourage other local organisations and people to do the same, to take action in the face of this potentially catastrophic threat to the way in which we live. Now, some people say the Town Council is too small to make a difference. They talk about China and its emissions, but we all need to do our bit. China can do a lot, but we can't influence China. But what we can do is look at our the local issues, our local environment, and make changes to the way in which we live. And we've achieved a lot. And I would just like to remind a few people of what we've achieved over the years, and particularly on climate change through the Climate Emergency Working Group. There's a Solar Streets Partnership Scheme, which has enabled individual households to install solar panels on their properties. We've installed solar panels on 3 council buildings, and we generate over 23,000 kilowatts hours of sustainable electricity per annum. We switched to a certified 100% renewable and carbon neutral electricity supplier. We've switched our investments to be ethical, away from the oil and fossil fuel industries and towards the sustainable and ethical industries, and we're continuing on that path. We have an electric vehicle charging hub at Mill Meadows, and the District Council have installed chargers at Grays Road car park. We've set up and funded a car club. We have 2 cars of our own, and the County Council provided a 3rd. We've switched from diesel to hydrogenated vegetable oil, saving, and the amount of carbon saved there is 16,000 kilograms per year. We've also, tree, as Councillor Gavishak has mentioned, we have a 6,000 strong tree population, and we need to increase and enhance that. And these are just some of the things that we've done over the years, and there is a plan. We continue to do that in the direction of the nature emergency. We didn't know exactly what all the things that we were going to do in 2020 when we declared it, and there's plenty more left to do. And so the plan here is a good one. There's plenty there to be done, and we won't necessarily get it all done in 5 years, and there'll be more to do as that comes along. But I think the report on the agenda is excellent. It's a really good start, points us in the right direction, and very importantly, it tells the people around us, the people of Henley, that they have to take part in protecting our environment, protecting nature, ensuring that biodiversity is retained and the loss of it is reversed. And therefore, I'm very happy to finally see this come to the full council, and shall be voting in favour of it.
Councillor Weston, would anybody else like to speak? No, in that case, we'll move to a vote. All of those in favour? Anyone against? I have declared a nature emergency. And with that, we close the meeting. Please feel free to